So like I said with Firewatch, there were a lot of gems that were in between the major announcements at E3, and today we're talking about one of them, but from the most unlikely source. In the Electronic Arts press conference, after being pelted by Garden Warfare 2 a couple of times, felt like a dozen, we then got to meet their newest studio, Coldwood, and their first project, Unravel. Hey guys, Drak here, and today we're going to take a look at Unravel to see if it was worth the effort that Coldwood put into it, or if they'll soon just be another company devoured by the monster known as Electronic Arts. So let's get to it. So the story here is simple but loving as we meet an old woman we're assuming is near the end of her life, and is trying to collect all the memories her life had. But it's okay because unbeknownst to her, the character of the game, Yarny, resolves to help her with this task, and sets out to the many places she visited and collect the memories for her. Now, Yarny isn't exactly the most versatile of characters, but he's one that you can root for as he collects the memories, and overall tries to survive in this hostile world he finds himself in. Each level and memory in this game is a treasure to behold and a pleasure to run through, as it makes you think back to your own life and remember moments just as loving as this woman had. So when Unravel was unveiled, I remember on Twitter a few of us were saying that this looked like Little Big Planet, but in real life. While that may sound like a jab at its visual style, from my end it wasn't. When I played Little Big Planet, I loved the look of it. But one thought I always had was how cool it would look if you were in real life instead of a fantasy world with your Sackboy. With that said, Unravel is gorgeous graphically, and fits that style really well, especially since Yarny always feels like a fish out of water each level he walks into. Not only that, but occasionally in the level to advance, you need to get carried off by something, and unless there's a prompt for it, which few levels have, each time it happens will scare the crap out of you and make you think you screwed up. These are great design decisions, as it only help to immerse the player in Yarny's struggles, and get them invested in him completing his goals. So I noticed a lot of outlets had a problem with the controls of Unravel, but to be honest, I don't really understand why. Unravel is a puzzle platformer, and like most of them, the goal is to get to the end of the level while dealing with obstacles along the way. In the case of Unravel, most of the time the obstacle is your own body. When Yarny sets out on his journey, he leaves a constant thread of yarn behind him, and if he loses enough, he can't advance. So in order to solve this problem, you will come across checkpoints to recharge his yarn, and in turn, by the next checkpoint, have another major obstacle to solve. Now, one complaint I saw a lot is sometimes you'll have to use your yarn to create platforms to push objects onto, or to create a trampoline to jump to a higher platform. In order to create said platforms, you have to tie your yarn to anchor points, which will eat into how much yarn you have if not used properly. Now personally, I didn't have a problem with it, and thought this was an inventive idea. Think about it, when you play a Mario game, you keep track of how many hits you have before death. So if you have a mushroom, you have 2 hits before death. This plays the same into Unravel in the fact that if you don't keep track of your yarn, there will be a consequence. And when you have to backtrack to fix your problem, it does feel like it's genuinely your fault. That you messed up, not the game. Because it was you who tied down too many anchor points. Overall, Unravel felt like a dream to play, and is fun for veteran and new gamers alike. So this year I'm having a pattern of having to discuss audio, but a certain element isn't there. And Unravel is no different, as there's no dialogue, but only music and sound effects to help tell the story. The music is wonderful, whimsical, and nostalgic. As you make your way through the levels, you begin to see the memories you're collecting, and the music complements them brilliantly. While a lot of Unravel is inspired by a lot of Swedish folk songs, it's so nostalgic that I found myself looking back on my own life while listening to the music, and thinking of all the good times I had along the way. This wasn't a bad thing, as I think that's what the game was going for in a lot of ways. Heck, I haven't confirmed it, but I wouldn't be surprised if all the memories were based on that of a dev team member or one of their relatives. Look, I know I'm ranting here and I'm off topic, but that's what Unravel's sound design does, and it's such a great design element for doing so that immersion is helped all the more, as it feels like Yarny is helping you collect your memories along the journey. So like with most platformers, Unravel's replayability lies in its collectibles. Each level has a set amount of collectibles that can help you move towards 100% completion. However, I couldn't tell you if there was a reward at the end of it aside from personal satisfaction. I looked for a special ending or custom modes or anything that you could earn, and while I couldn't find anything, I wasn't disappointed. Whether you're a completionist or a casual, this game has replay value, as I don't even think a completionist would have a problem playing the levels over to get something for their own satisfaction. So if you haven't gotten the clue where I'm going to go with this, here it is. This game comes together beautifully to tell a great story of discovery, hardship, and love, and does so with every element it can get its hands on, and uses every tool at its disposal very well. Now yes, some elements are missing, but like with Firewatch, you don't miss them, as this already provides a loving experience without them. It almost feels like adding something to Unravel would just take away from the other elements and hurt the experience. For console and PC gamers alike, this game gets an easy recommend from me. Unravel is one of those games that stays with you and has no problem earning a solid 9 out of 10 from me, and is a must-have for any gamer this year. And that's going to do it for my review of Unravel. If you liked what I had to say, please leave a like and comment, as I love reading your feedback. You can also subscribe to my channel and check out all the other content I provide, like my Let's Plays. Or if you haven't already, check out my review of Firewatch, another great budget title you should have this year. And as for me, I hope you guys have enjoyed this review of Unravel, and I'll see you for the next one.